All right, guys, we are getting ready to head out here on this 39-hour fishing adventure here at Hubbard's Marina. These 39-hour trips are super unique, gives us 2-day bag limit, tons of fishing time, almost 20 hours plus on some trips for long-range, deep water fishing. We're going after some big gag grouper, red grouper, scamp grouper, mangrove snapper, yellowtails, amicos, vermilions, tuna, wahoo, and much, much more. Red snapper season just ended. Amberjack season's about to open up, but there's tons of fish out here to catch. It's always funny that during our red snapper season, it gets super busy. People are trying to get on that boat as much as they can. We're trying to create as much availability as possible. Then we get to this time of year where loads get super light. There's plenty of room around the boat. This trip, there's less than 40 anglers going fishing. Great opportunity to get out there on the water and catch a bunch of stuff. And we're looking forward to really capitalizing on a bunch of meat and a great opportunity to get out there on the water. We've got a great crew out here this trip. We've got our friends at FWC doing some tag and recapture studies. We've got USF out here doing some cooperative research projects as well. And we've got some of our friends from South Florida who are really into the slow pitch jigging. So we're gonna have some guys using that slow pitch jigging technique. We're gonna have some bait fishermen, and we're gonna see what works out really well this trip and who catches the biggest fish, and hopefully bring back a big old mountain of snapper, grouper, and much more. So we'll see how it works out.
Some tangles are small and you just unhook it. Some tangles are huge and you get to where your leader's in a giant tangle, you just grab your swivel and cut your leader off and let the whole rest of that tangle go. The other guy reels it in and then he deals with it. You just tie a new leader on. You might catch a shark. You're going to get your line broken by a big fish. So you need lots of rigs ready and you need to just be prepared to tie more. I'm going to show you guys how to tie a quick double hook snail rig, and so you guys can stay fishing. And your rental rod guys will be there. We can tie your rig on there for you, but it's easier if you've already got the rig tied up and be like, Will, here's your rig, or can you tie it on for me, please? And then I'll be like, yes, sir, I can. So if you guys rented a rod, come on over here and grab yourself a few of these hooks, and I've got leader line here and over there. Now you're done with that bottom part. Now you're gonna go from the top and wrap it just under that eye, going down, and I wrap it up 8 times. Now once you've got those 8 wraps, hold that with your finger, go to the other end of your line, and take it from the back of the hook to the front, and pull it tight. And that's your basic double hook snail rig for 39-hour deep sea fishing in the Gulf of Mexico. There we go. All right, this is gonna be our first spot of the night on our 39-hour fishing trip. Very calm out here tonight, and we're gonna be targeting mangrove snapper throughout the night. We'll catch a few other species as well, and then grouper fishing in the daytime.
Good morning, everybody. Captain Brian and the crew here on the Florida Fisherman 2. We just had a real good night's fishing. Real large mangroves all night long, you know, fishing 200 feet of water. Pretty solid anchor heading, and now the bites slow down. It's daylight. We're gonna take about an hour ride and see if we can't find some gag groupers and some scamps before we're done with this trip.
It's approaching midday here, hot and calm, and we had a good morning of grouper fishing, and generally things slow down midday, but we've been doing well so far, and hopefully this will continue. We'll keep fishing for these groupers throughout the day, and evening time the snappers start biting a little better, and we'll slide back in on some big mangrove snappers to finish the trip. So this is the last spot of the evening. We'll be headed home in about 30 minutes or so. And overall, a good trip. We got a lot of nice high quality fish, big mangroves at night last night, big groupers in the morning this morning. And then we had a little rain this afternoon and tricky conditions, some current. And now the sun's setting and conditions are getting right again. We're starting to catch some fish here in the evening. We'll have this last spot, catch some big snappers. We just got a nice mutton snapper, and then we'll head on back to the dock. Well, that was the end of the trip there, guys. We had some amberjack action on the last spot. Got several of those at the end, and that is prone to happen at sundown and sunup. Those amberjacks are very active. And got a nice mutton snapper. I think that will be the jackpot winning snapper tomorrow, but lots of amberjacks there at the end, and the guys, you'll see, they were jigging them with high-speed jigs on the bow, and got several amberjacks on this last spot. A few approaching 40 pounds, I would say.
All right, we're back from a 39-hour adventure, and it was another great trip. Big gag grouper, nice big red grouper, solid mangroves. We got some big vermilions, triggerfish, almacos. There was a really solid grade of fish. Despite red snapper season being closed, there's still plenty of meat back there in our fish boxes. We were real excited to have nice weather through a majority of the trip. In the afternoon, we had to deal with some of those squall lines, but it wasn't too terrible. And you could see it paid off with that big pile of fish and a nice catch. So we had some real experienced anglers on this trip doing a variety of different fishing styles. We saw the slow pitch jig fishermen catch some really big red grouper, porgies, mangroves, almacos, and some big jacks at the end of the trip. Especially late afternoon, the amberjack fishing on the slow pitch jigs were going really well. Then throughout the entire trip, some really big gag grouper. We lost a lot of big gag grouper, unfortunately. Definitely, it's a battle when you hook those gags. You got to start cranking fast, and you got to want it. You're at war, and the first battle, the hardest battle, is getting that gag grouper up off the bottom. And then once he's up off the bottom, slowing down and being really deliberate. What a lot of people can mess up from time to time is if you are lucky enough to get the bite, get him hooked, get him off the bottom, then he's stressed out. The line is stretched, it's probably nicked from going into the bottom. All your tackle is pushed to the max. So once you get them up off the bottom, then it's a finesse game. You gotta slow down, take it easy, point your rod at the fish. If he pulls, let him take it a little bit. Don't be as rough with them once you get them off the bottom. Finesse them to the surface. And luckily we were able to get some of those nice big gag grouper up and into the fish box. Unfortunately, we still lost quite a few really big fish. Some stories around the boat of some truly monster gag grouper that unfortunately didn't make the trip home with us. But we got some nice scamp, some solid red grouper right before that red grouper season ended. We've got some big triggerfish too, lots of good eating fish, and another great 39-hour trip. You just can't beat a large amount of fishing time and so much flexibility to go and find those fish out in deep water. Captain Brian did a great job putting us on the meat. Will and the guys did a great job keeping us busy and keeping us fishing, and we're excited. Tons more 39-hour trips, 44-hour trips. If you don't have the time for one of these long-range adventures, we got the 12-hour Extreme, which gives you the same fishing area, but you're home and able to sleep in your own bed at night. So lots of options here at Hubbard's Marina. Don't be fooled by the imitation. Come fishing with the original and best in the Southeast region. And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy.